Thank you, everyone, for joining us. This is Woodward Nights. We're here 8 to 10 every day, Monday through Friday. Go ahead for us. Hit that like. We would really, really appreciate it. I want to talk a little bit about Amon-Ra St. Brown here. There's worries earlier in this week that he might have turf toe. He might have an injury that maybe was going to keep him on a Sunday or maybe was going to nag throughout the rest of the season. But fortunately, he seems to be okay. There's a video, Amon-Ra St. Brown talking about being lucky that it wasn't turf toe. If you could play that, Parker, that would be fantastic.
You said you experienced similar injury in high school. You know, turf toes linger. Is this something you think you might have to kind of manage all season long?
I don't think so. I got lucky. It's not turf toe, so I think I'll be fine. You know, I know we have a quick turnaround game after this week, so after that, though, I think I'll be good.
So that's a very basic clip, but just his confidence in coming back. He said he's going to be good.
Yep.
And he's going to be ready to go on Sunday.
And he mentioned, too, I don't know if the other clips that you have here for us, because I told you I surprised us with the clips. So I'm interested because when I did watch the interview, he did mention that someone said, "Is it turf toe?" And he goes, "I don't know if it was in there." He goes, "No, it's not turf toe, but it was just a kind of a bone thing."
I can't remember if it's on this clip, but there is one. Him talking about on the pressure to perform and other. Actually, no, I'm sorry.
I'll play it.
Amon-Ra St. Brown on coming back from his injury and the mentality.
I
think he mentions it near the end of this.
You want me to play it?
If you could, that'd be fantastic.
You know, approach the injuries, though. I mean, obviously, this is not one that's holding you back from playing this week, but just when do you know, like, this is something I can push through, or this is something that, you know, I might have to sit back, especially with a game coming up so quickly next week?
Yeah, it's a good question. For me, it's just like you kind of know. You kind of have that sense of feeling like this don't feel right. I don't know if I can play, or this is something I can push through, and it's getting better every day. So I think I'm gonna be able to, last through and keep going. So you just, as a player, I feel like you gotta have that pain tolerance. You gotta know. Obviously, structurally too, it has to be right. But you just gotta kind of have that feeling that you can push through it.
And you take pride in that, right? I know the ankle kept you out one game last year, and it sort of pains you to sit out. So how much pride do you take in just being that guy that's there every week when possible?
Definitely. I hate missing games. I gotta be there for my guys. So I want to play every week. So that's my goal.
So, Booner, he didn't say it in that clip. He didn't talk about that. It wasn't turf toe. He got lucky with it, something to do with two bones in his toe.
He said two bones and it was bent or something.
Yes.
I don't know.
But he is going to be wearing a steel toe in one of his shoes. I know Dan Campbell joked about that, or not joked, mentioned that in his press conference there. Oh, look at there's flannel. He said he's actually worn a steel toe in his shoe in high school.
He's comfortable with it now.
Yeah, this is nothing new to him. So it's not anything. What I took from that is I don't think there's anything to be worried about.
It seemed like that the precautionary earlier this week is, hey, let's just give you a day or two because we have days to give you. But then after that, it feels like if you watch this full interview, it's on the Lions YouTube, you can literally see that he's in high spirits. He's ready to go. It's not like, the confidence he's giving off. It's like, hey, I'm basically 100% in my mind. That's kind of how I took it from him. Like, he's going to play Sunday. Because originally I thought maybe he was one of those guys to where it's like if he plays Sunday, he might not go Thursday. But it sounds like to me, the way that he spoke, the way he went about that interview, that he's ready to go. And there's going to be, he's not sitting out at all. And he's going to be able to play through this. I was wondering what that steel thing looks like.
It's to keep the toe from bending too much.
Is it underneath? Is it the front? I don't know. I was looking it up earlier on Google to try and find it.
It's like kind of on top, kind of around the toe-ish. We wore a similar one. Like when I would pitch, there were little clay. This formula that you could put on the toe of your shoe, because when your back toe drags on the dirt, over a short amount of time, it just starts to tear away at that at the outside of the shoe. So it's just this kind of hardened material to protect. The steel toe's inside the shoe, and it's just supposed to keep like a splint inside the shoe almost.
The fact that he played with it in high school, so he's used to it, that makes me feel that much better.
Yeah,
if I'm being completely honest.
100%. And he seems confident going into this game. He was talking a little bit about the defense. He actually mentioned Jeff Okudah too, but Amon-Ra St. Brown on Jeff Okudah and the Atlanta defense. Parker, if you could play that'd be phenomenal.
Familiar face in Jeff. What kind of challenges do they present?
Yeah, they got a good defense. Terrell, AJ, number 24, good DB. They just got Jesse Bates at safety. He's savvy veteran DB, knows football, smart guy. Like you said, Jeff Flowers, I believe, number 33. So I got a bunch of guys that have played a lot of football in this league. So it's definitely going to be a challenge for us. But I think, the coaches here, they have a pretty good plan. So I'm excited for the game.
He feels ready to go. The coaches have a plan going into this game, and he called out some of their best defensive players. He's prepared. He's ready to go.
They do have a good secondary, and you could tell he knows it. Yeah, it seems like he's ready. I'm confident Amon-Ra St. Brown's fine. That's why the injury report says questionable. Josh Reynolds questionable. Maybe we should be more worried about Josh Reynolds than Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah, I mean it was a hamstring.
We haven't heard anything about Josh Reynolds or from him.
Yeah.
Have you seen him around the locker? Like, is he
Yeah, he's around, but
are people talking about it?
No, there's not much being said about it. It surprised a lot of people when he was on the injury report. So,
and I heard the same thing. I saw something on Twitter today. It was the same thing with Kirby. Is no one's really been able to talk to Kirby. He's it's been tough to kind of get that interview with him, and no one's really talked about the hip injury at all.
Given much.
So I don't know if this is like a strategic thing, but it's like, we're all sitting here on the other side. I mean, we literally have you in the building, and I see tweets as well of people who are in the building, and they're like, we don't know what's going on with Kirby Joseph and Josh Reynolds.
Yeah.
So it worries me a little bit.
Yeah, I think this new regime is just keeping everything a little bit closer, not sharing.
That's good.
Yeah, it's a little. We don't want to go the Bill Belichick era, that direction. We've experienced that with Matt Patricia, but he's not Dan Campbell. All these coaches, actually, none of the assistant coaches, the coordinators, are willing to share anything about injuries. They always say, hey, that's a question for Coach Campbell, and then he doesn't really give you much.
I mean, did you hear Amon-Ra St. Brown on his own podcast? If anyone watched that? He literally, on the podcast, his brother asked him, hey, I know you went out with an injury. He said, yeah, I was cramping. And 2, I had the toe injury. And he was like, I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to go into that much. You guys can listen to Dan Campbell throughout the week on that.
Yeah.
But he was like, I felt fine. I came back in the game, and I'm perfectly fine. But let Dan Campbell talk about that stuff.
This is part of
in-house.
Part of the reason why another reason why SOL is no more. Like old Lions, like these things would come out. Players talk. They would talk about their injuries, the good, the bad, the negative. This is different. And aside from that, isn't it just great having a guy like Amon-Ra St. Brown on the Lions? Just his mentality, his willingness, his wanting to play each and every game. You think everyone would be like that, but really they aren't. He's a unicorn. He's a unicorn.
Yeah, just his energy. He's a captain now. His energy.
Yeah.
He's a great player. If you guys watch that full interview, like he cracks some jokes. His energy's up. You would think coming off of a loss and being on an injury, usually guys are like down a little bit. Like, I just want to get out of here. Now it's a completely different vibe. So I'm excited. I'm glad that he's okay, because when we first did the show on Monday, there was people in the chat like, aren't you worried about turf toe? For him to say it's not turf toe, it's 2 bones. I'm going to be just fine. We're going to be good. Let's get through Thursday and let's get those 10 days off. That's how I look at it.
2 bones. I got one more clip for you, and it's more of a call out to the fans, or an apology, a little bit of acknowledgement. Parker, if you could play the one, him letting the fans down and their call to them to be loud on Sunday.
You guys feel like you owe the fans one from last week? I know some of the guys have talked about that a little bit, just with how crazy that environment, how loud it is. Same thing for Sunday. How much do you want to now kind of pay them back for last week?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like we let them down last week. Especially coming off that victory against Kansas City. Everyone was excited for that first home game. Fans were juiced up. We were juiced, but we let them down. So I'm excited to go back this week, back at home. Hopefully the fans show out like they did last week. But man, we honestly, we couldn't do without them. They're the best out. They were loud, supportive. I just hope it's the same as last week, because we got to make it up to them, definitely.
Show out! Show up and show out, fellas.
They feel it. They feel bad.
They do, yeah, and it makes me nervous too, because you had all of that hype, and then you go in there, all these, it was packed. So it's like, is it going to be a little bit down? Are the fans like, no? You got, if you're in this chat watching right now, and you have season tickets or you have tickets, go there, be loud, one pride, all of that. Keep that same energy from last week. Let's carry it over. The players want that back. Like they were literally like, last week was insane. We want that every single game. Let's change Ford Field and let's make things different. And we have to do that consistently. We apologize. Like he said it there. Like we apologize to all the fans for losing. but we're going to make things right. And it feels like Sunday, they're going to make things right.
100%.